WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas is in the books, and the internet is on fire with a major complaint that WWE needs to address immediately. Fans are speaking up because the first night of the show suffered from a massive lack of in-ring time for several key matchups. While the spectacle was there, viewers are pointing to a frustrating pattern where some of the biggest stars were held back by short durations.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the Pop Sockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
The issue is clear when you look at the breakdown of the card, where quality matches like Gunther versus Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton felt earned, but other bouts felt rushed. When matches like the tag team encounters or the championship bouts are cut down, they lose their ability to build anticipation and tell a full story. This left the audience feeling like they were watching filler between endless commercial breaks instead of the premium wrestling experience they paid for. The results from Allegiant Stadium were packed with action, including IShowSpeed making a splash, Drew McIntyre taking on Jacob Fatu in a brutal unsanctioned clash, and Rhea Ripley reclaiming the gold from Jade Cargill. We saw legends and newcomers alike putting it all on the line, but the constant interruptions and truncated match times made it difficult for the momentum to truly take hold. Even with major title changes and big moments, the shadow of production choices and commercial saturation loomed over the entire event. Looking ahead, the road to the next chapter is already being mapped out, as reports suggest a massive future feud between Roman Reigns and Gunther is in the works following their high-profile wins. With Roman Reigns standing tall after his victory over CM Punk and Gunther coming off his dominant performance, this potential collision is set to be a defining moment for the company. Make sure to stay in the loop on all these developments by hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell for more updates. Ever feel like the biggest night of the year was being interrupted by a wrestling match? That is exactly how fans felt during night one of WrestleMania 42, and honestly, they have a point. I usually avoid telling promoters how to run their business, but when the feedback from both hardcore and casual fans is this loud and this unanimous, it is time for WWE to start listening. The problem wasn't the number of matches. 7 is a perfect sweet spot for a 2-night show. The problem was the clock. When 4 of your 7 matches clock in under 9 minutes, you are not telling a story. You are just rushing to the next commercial break. Think about the gems from the night. Gunther versus Seth, Cody versus Randy, and Drew versus Jacob. These went anywhere from 14 to 23 minutes. They had room to breathe, space to build those heart-stopping false finishes, and room for the psychology that makes wrestling truly great. They felt like main events. But then, look at the others. Shuffled through like filler on a standard episode of Raw, denied the time to showcase the talent that makes them legends. It is frustrating because WrestleMania is supposed to be the showcase where these athletes finally get off the leash. Instead, they are being restricted by a schedule that prioritizes ad revenue over in-ring quality. The math does not lie. We have seen a steady, discouraging regression in total wrestling time per night over the last few years, and frankly, TKO seems to have gotten a little too comfortable. When you pay for a premium subscription, you expect a premium product, not a show that feels like it's being held hostage by truck and insurance commercials. Nobody minds a break after an epic, earned war in the ring, but when the match is barely longer than the commercial break itself, the product feels cheap. It is a dangerous game to play. If TKO doesn't balance the need for profit with the need to protect the quality of the wrestling itself, they risk alienating the very fans that made this brand a global juggernaut. We want spectacle, not a glorified infomercial. What did you think of the pacing? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more wrestling deep dives. Remember, the best matches are the ones that respect your time, and it is time for WWE to start doing the same. Ever felt like you paid for a premium steak dinner, only to be served a few quick appetizers and a massive pile of advertisements instead? That is exactly how the WWE Universe felt after night one of WrestleMania 42. Look, I am usually the last person to hop on the book the show yourself bandwagon, but when the feedback from both casual viewers and diehards is this deafeningly unanimous, WWE needs to stop, pull over and listen. The problem wasn't the 7-match card. That is a perfect number for a 2-night event. The problem was the pacing. 4 of those 7 matches were clocked under 9 minutes. Think about that. We are talking about WrestleMania, the showcase of the immortals, yet half the card felt like it had less room to breathe than an average episode of Raw. When you look at the matches that actually worked, like Gunther versus Seth Rollins, or that absolute banger between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, it is obvious why. They had 16 to 23 minutes. They had the luxury of time to build a narrative, shift gears, and make those near falls feel like they could genuinely end the match. That is what a Mania moment is supposed to feel like, earned. In contrast, when you cram a title match into under 10 minutes, you are cutting the legs out from under the performers. They can't show off their full move sets or build anticipation, which makes the action feel rushed and, frankly, secondary. And that brings us to the elephant in the room, the commercials. It felt like every match was a sprint, immediately followed by a marathon of ads. When a match is only 8 minutes long, a 4-minute commercial break doesn't feel like a standard interlude. It feels like a cynical cash grab. It's hard to stay invested in the pageantry of the event when you feel like you are being marketed to every single time the bell rings. Compare this to WrestleMania 40, which gave us over 2 hours of wrestling. Night 1 of 42. We barely scraped past an hour and 20 minutes of in-ring action. WWE is a business, and I get that TKO wants to maximize revenue. But when your monetization strategy actively degrades the quality of your product, you are playing a dangerous game. Fans are not stupid. They know when they are being exploited. If you are going to pack the broadcast with ads, you have to compensate by giving us longer, higher-stakes matches that make those breaks feel like an earned breath. If you keep choosing the ad read over the storytelling, you aren't just selling a product. You're selling out the very thing that makes wrestling special. What did you think of the pacing? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more wrestling breakdowns. At the end of the day, a product that forgets its fans to please its sponsors is a product that won't stay on top for long. WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas is officially in the history books, and if you thought the desert heat was intense, you clearly didn't see what went down at Allegiant Stadium. This 2-night marathon was absolute chaos in the best way possible, filled with jaw-dropping spots, shocking returns, and enough title changes to keep every fan on their toes. Let's break down the madness. Saturday night kicked off with a spectacle. Streamer iShowSpeed made his debut, and while the match was a messy scramble, he pulled off the spot of the weekend by splashing Logan Paul through the announce table. Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu turned their unsanctioned match into a hardware store nightmare, with Fatu eventually moonsaulting McIntyre through a table for the win. In the tag division, the Bella Twins made a massive impact, with Paige stepping in as a surprise partner to help Brie Bella capture the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Meanwhile, Becky Lynch finally exorcised her demons against AJ to snag the Women's Intercontinental title, and Gunther walked away with a win over Seth Rollins, though it was Braun Breaker's shocking return and back-to-back spears that stole the segment. The Judgment Day's Liv Morgan relied on her numbers advantage to secure her gold, but the main event saw Cody Rhodes retain his title against Randy Orton, though Orton left his mark with a post-match punt that left the champion reeling. Sunday brought even more carnage. We witnessed a changing of the guard as Oba Femi absolutely decimated Brock Lesnar, forcing the Beast to leave his boots in the ring in a moment that felt like a true retirement tease. The men's Intercontinental Ladder match was a high-flying car wreck where Penta reigned supreme, while Trick Williams electrified the crowd with a huge win over Sami Zayn to claim the U.S. title. Finn Balor brought the Demon back to dismantle Dominic Mysterio in a brutal street fight, and Rhea Ripley cemented her dominance once again, overcoming Jade Cargill to reclaim the Women's Championship. Finally, the grand finale, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. It was a clash of icons, but in the end, Punk's gas tank hit empty. Reigns capitalized on a failed, go-to-sleep attempt with a pair of spears to pin the best in the world and sit firmly back at the head of the table. What a weekend. Did the right people walk out as champions, or are we heading for some serious controversy on Monday night? Drop a comment below with your favorite moment from the show, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all the post-Mania fallout. Until next time, keep watching the screen, because in WWE, the story never truly ends. Is this the era of the absolute tribal chief? Roman Reigns is back on the throne, but the real question is who has the nerve to challenge him for the gold. Fresh off a legendary back-and-forth war against CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania 42, Roman stood tall, delivered back-to-back spears, and secured his 7th World Championship. It was a statement victory, cementing his place at the absolute pinnacle of the industry. But if you think he's just going to take a victory lap, think again. The gears are already turning, and it sounds like WWE is already lining up a massive collision course. According to recent reports from Dave Meltzer, the current creative direction for Roman Reigns is a high-stakes showdown against the ring general himself, Gunther. Now, let's be real. This is the dream match we have all been waiting for. Gunther is coming in with nuclear momentum after taking down Seth Rollins on night 1. And while they tangled at the Royal Rumble, we have never seen these two giants collide in a one-on-one, no-holds-barred environment. This isn't just another title defense. It is a clash of philosophies. It is the powerhouse versus the technician, and it feels like the definitive match for this stage of Roman's career. Will it happen at SummerSlam or somewhere down the road? The timing is still a mystery, but the intent is clear. WWE is playing for keeps. What do you think? Can anyone actually stop the momentum of the tribal chief, or is Gunther about to be the one who finally turns the tide? Drop a comment below with your prediction, hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop, and remember, in the world of wrestling, the only thing guaranteed is the next big shock.